trailer. I didn't get a chance to view the movie. So, all yours, Bia. Why should we watch this, and who's this for?
So thank you, Ravi. The reason I chose Outlander as my favorite all-time series on Netflix is because I happened again by chance to watch this during the COVID times when one was locked in at home and there was nothing to do. And I just got so hooked onto it. Both my husband and I used to. It's a 1 hour serial, and we just got so hooked onto it that we even started talking the same language because this series actually is a historical, mystical, fantasy, come real series, and it's all shot in Scotland, in the Highlands of Scotland. It's beautiful, it's picturesque, it's historical. It's about travel time. You know how the main actress in Outlander is actually a army nurse from World War II,
Mhm.
but she travels in time 200 years before the World War II and goes into Scotland where she's born, but goes back in the era where there were these battles that were going on big time at that time in Scotland, and she finds the love of her life. So the whole center of this series is the love and the chemistry between um, Claire, that's the name of the lady, and Jamie-Fraser, and he is drop dead gorgeous. That, of course, kept me going because he's again both of them. I think they're both Scottish, English Scottish. Most of the actors in this are English and Scottish. But what I really loved about this series, besides a lot of other things, is the chemistry between these two. Jamie-Fraser and Claire. The chemistry was unbelievable. I mean, every time they would look into each other's eyes, your heart would melt. It was like that. That strong how chemistry. And I'm amazed that they are both not seeing each other in real life because the chemistry they share on screen is so immense that I was very surprised when I got to know that actually Claire is engaged to somebody else and he's dating somebody else. So, but their on-screen chemistry is absolutely insane, which is, like I said, the epicenter of the series. Besides that, you get to see a lot of Scotland, the beautiful Highlands of Scotland. You get to see these beautiful castles in Scotland. You get not only Scotland, you actually get to see so much in this series. There's so much about the French Revolution. So a lot of it holds. There are 5 seasons in all, and almost one full season is shot in Paris. So
Okay.
you get to see a lot of France, the French Revolution era. You also get to see, how America was set up, how it was a no man's land, and how it turned out to be America. And again, the American Revolution, and also the fights about apartheid and racial discrimination, a lot of things which were prevalent at that time. So loads of things which are very very interesting. And this particular series is definitely not for kids
Mhm.
because a lot of nudity and a lot of all of that. In fact, my dad jokes about it that he knows the anatomy of Claire inside out because there are so many scenes in the series that he says, I know her anatomy, I know her body inside out because it is shown so often and so much. But in a
That's
very
a good
aesthetic
one.
way, of course. There's nothing vulgar about it. It's very, very aesthetic, but definitely not meant for children. And yeah, it's absolutely amazing. It's beautiful. I mean, it just kept me going. And another thing which I really loved about Outlander was the Gaelic language, which is the
Mhm.
Scottish language of the olden times. So they use a lot of that again and again and again. So if you watch all the 5 seasons, you kind of get, like he calls Claire Sassenach. So Sassenach, I assume, is a beautiful lady or my love, which kind of became a part of my vocabulary because I started using Sassenach all the time. And there's so many other words which kind of are very very interesting. And I love history, I love culture. So anybody who loves history, especially the European, the English countryside, their history, their culture, would definitely love this. I know, highly highly recommended from my side. I'm sure they would love this totally.
Super. So बहुत सारे series, I mean, most of them we actually see the trailer, and then if it's good,
Yeah.
then we get into it. So वो trailer में क्या पसंद आया, which made you decide that okay, let's watch this?
Like I said, the Highlands of Scotland. So when you watch it, it's about time travel. That first of all intrigued me the most because
Okay.
time travel. I had, of course, as a kid, I'd seen Back to the Future and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
which was about time travel. But this was a series with 5 seasons, 4 seasons when it started with time travel. So that intrigued me the most. And then it was the the beautiful Highlands of Scotland. I was privileged enough to go and see Wales and Scotland about 2 years ago, the most prettiest parts of it. So I was reliving my travel days when I saw all this. So definitely the view, and like I said, I love history, and I knew it was all about the olden times, history. So a lot of that put together. Like if you ask me about a lot of people I know, including my husband, they love Money Heist and they love the Queen's Gambit, but those are not my kind of series. I like to stick to history. At the same time, even though this has history, some of the events and some of the locations that they have shown in this are very, very real and they exist. And even some of the events that they've captured have actually happened in Scotland. So it's not complete fantasy, it's not complete fiction, it's a mix of everything put together.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that, is it complete fantasy, or, is it a real story, or they've included some real incidents in that?
Yeah, no, there are a lot of real instances. Like I said, they've included the French Revolution exactly when it happened, the American Revolution when it exactly happened, a lot of battles in Scotland which they showed, which actually happened when they did.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of these castles which still exist there, which they have shown as their homes in the olden times. So there's so much to see, and yeah, it's of course relevant because a lot is what happened in true in history.
Given a chance of time travel, where would you go, Bia?
Interesting question. I've never thought of that. Time travel, I would definitely like to go back in time and change certain things if I could. So yeah, I would love to probably not go back 200 years, but maybe go back 100 years, 200. So yeah, another thing, Ravi, in this is, you can see a stark difference because this lady travels from 1970s, first 1940s, then
Okay.
1970s to 200 years ago. So there were no lights, there were only candles. And I was just thinking, how does she, like somebody like us who's so used to and takes lights in our lives for granted, suddenly when you go to this era where there are, not your clothes are totally different and your, not just the food that they eat is totally different. They actually go into the jungle and they kill animals and they eat them. That's how she started living. So 200 years would be a little too much for me. I don't think I'll be able to deal with that. But with time travel, I think 100 years is something I would still be able to deal with.
तो बहुत मैनेज करना पड़ेगा with respect to fashion
बहुत
when you
manage
go
करना
back.
पड़ेगा, but I think it'll be an interesting journey. So it's in this also it's very interesting, Ravi, because she goes through the caves every time she travels in time. She goes through caves and she lands up at the same place. So and it's not just her. There are a lot of people who travel in time. I will not disclose more than that, but like I said, it's very interesting. So I would love to travel back in time, and I would definitely love to go to either UK or Scotland, not anywhere else, to the same place because I absolutely love that part of the world. So definitely would like to go back there.
So what's your review? I mean, which dominated the most? Is it the picturization? Is it the music? Is it the storyline? Is it the cast?
The music is very haunting. Initially, when they're showing the cast, the music is very, very haunting, very mystical. So yes, that is something which really stayed close to my heart. Uh, to be very honest, the cast I had never seen before till I started watching this. But then once I started watching this, I fell in love with Samheughan, the man who plays jamiefraser. Totally in love with him now, and he spent apparently 6 years of his life. He's only been doing this role, so I
Wow.
have a lot of respect to him. I think he's a pretty new actor, but he's acted really, really well. So yeah, it was the cast, it was the music, it was the cinematography, the way they've captured. Scotland anyway is beautiful, but the way they've captured different parts of Scotland and how they've depicted it in 200 years ago versus what it was in 1970s. So there's a lot about it which actually attracted me. Yeah.
So after you watch the episode or the entire series, you get this option in Netflix to like it, based on that you get suggestions. So do you do that? I mean, not only for this particular series, do you often do that so that you get appropriate recommendation based on your view?
Actually, I didn't know that you could do that. So now that
Yeah,
you're
you can
saying
do.
I can, I definitely will do it for Outlander because this is my favorite series. So now that you're telling me it is an option, I'm definitely going
Yeah,
to do
that's
that.
that's an option. Based on that, the Netflix decides on
The
what
ratings.
what's your choices, your
Right.
choices of your interest,
Okay.
what
Oh,
you
that's how
like,
you
and
get
then
all these top few.
yeah, your recommendations for Bia. But how do you manage your Netflix? बच्चे देखते हैं, and you watch it. So you have logins for everybody, different logins for everybody.
Yes, we do. We do. I have one for myself, one for my husband, one for my kids, which are obviously
Okay.
based on age, gender. My husband and I choice is completely the opposite when it comes to Netflix series. Somehow we kind of matched our thinking with Outlander, and we saw another one or two. But otherwise, he watches something completely different. I am watching something completely different at the moment. So our taste with the Netflix series is definitely the opposite. But yeah, so the when we were watching Outlander, it was only at night once the kids would go to sleep. Like I said, because it's not for kids. So we all have our own little, those boxes
Works.
with names written on it, and this is what is for this one. So yeah, we do have that. But now this that you've told me this, I will definitely make sure that I go ahead and
Yeah.
like and review on whatever I like.
Sure. So, next question: what's been your record? People have broken records in pandemic where they've watched series at one go. So, what's been your record? How long? I mean, uh, how many episodes have you seen for any series? Not only Outlander, for any series.
I think the max, because most of these series are an hour now. One
Hmm.
episode is 1 hour, so I think maximum I've done is about 4 to 5 hours. Because after that, I start getting a headache. If I watch more than 4 to 5 episodes, I need to wear specs as well when I watch TV. So when I watch that, I start getting a headache, and I have honestly never been a TV person till COVID times. And COVID times, I became a total TV person. So 4 or 5 hours is a lot for me. So up to 4 or 5 hours is what I would watch at a time, and then the next day, depending on the mood, the scene, the work one had to do during the COVID times, all of that put together. So yeah, that was how it went.
So, if you have to summarize the entire Outlander, and for the viewers who have not watched it, including me, how would you summarize it, and how would you rate out of 1 to 5? How much would you rate for Outlander?
I would definitely give it a 5 on 5 because I loved it so much. From me personally, it gets a 5 on 5. And like I said, the it's very picturesque. If you love history, you would love it. If you are, if you have a romantic point of view or a perspective towards life, you would love it because, like I said, the whole epicenter of it is the romance between these two and how much they do for each other and how their relationship blossoms and the struggles that they go through together. So that is the main kind of epicenter of Outlander. But besides that, like I said, the music, the history, the different parts of the world that you get to see, the different eras that you get to see, the costumes are beautiful because you can imagine in Paris the French Revolution, and then suddenly you move to America, and they're from a very kind of a upmarket, well-to-do family in this, so they are all full of, they are hobnobbing with the lords and those kind of people. So it's the costumes are also amazing. I love the costumes, and I love fashion anyway. So that is something which I would look at with a very very keen eye. Yeah, so definitely I love that. Lots of things. I mean, I can go on and on about it because there was so much I loved about it. The
Super.
cast and lots of things. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Bia. I'm sure with the way you're so fascinated about this particular series, someday you would dress up like the cast out there, you and your Hrithik Roshan, and for one of the fashion series.
Yeah, I hope so. I would love to just meet them. Forget anything else. I would love to meet these two because I'm, totally in love with the chemistry between the two and the way they've portrayed this. And now they're coming up with season 6.
Oh,
In
okay.
season 5, they're going to complete now in Feb 2021, and they've started shooting for season 6 recently. So I can't wait for the rest of the episodes of season 5 and season 6. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Well, Thanks a lot, Bia, for joining us and sharing the review. So, yeah, all the audience who've not watched it, check out the review of
Please do,
Bia, and then,
yes.
yeah, do watch it. I'm also in the list. Yeah. Thank you, friends. Have a
Yes,
great
please do.
day.
I'm sure you like it, Ravi. It's really, really nice. It's
Yeah, yeah.
brilliant.
Just 4K, large screen, and Scotland. देखना पड़ेगा.
Absolutely. It's like you'll visit Scotland without even going there.
Cool. Thank you, Bia. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you so much.